Hello, welcome back. This is Opal Unicorn. I wanted to talk today about asking for help with anything. And what I mean by asking for help isn't asking people for help, even though that's also something that is wonderful to do when needed. Many of us feel like we have to do it alone, and that does often mean that we don't ask other people for help. But more importantly, when you feel like you're doing everything alone and you have a hard time asking for help, the other thing that happens with us is that we forget to ask the spirit world for help. And that's actually something quite important when we're going through anything in life, because sometimes we believe that we are being held and guided by our spirit guides, our angels, and then other times we question, is this real? Is there anybody out there in the spirit world that cares about me? Is there a spirit world? Am I really just alone? Do I have to do things here on earth by myself? And there's so many questions about the spirit world and God and the angels and any of the higher forces that are there to help us. And the questions are usually, if they were out there, why is there so much pain and suffering? Why am I suffering so much? And you doubt and you question. And there's a lot to that. One being that before we came here, we chose to have the lives that we have. We chose to have the suffering. We chose the family. We chose the people in our lives. A lot of us chose really painful lives, and that was to help us have so much pain that it helped us remember and connect to the spirit world. And that was the purpose of that. And so once you have experienced that need and desire to connect to the spirit world out of pain and suffering, don't forget that the spirit world helped you and guided you in so many ways and connected you to things. And when I say this, I say it to myself every day, because it's about remembering that we're not alone and that we can ask for help. And it's in every way possible, and to make a habit of that, because we might pray and ask the angels and God for help. We might pray and ask for something big when we're having a big problem or a big issue, or when we're desperate. But getting more and more into the habit of praying and asking the angels for help for little things and the small things and the everyday things, or even things that we don't even pay attention to because we're so used to it. Some of us are so used to being in survival mode, or so used to having negative people around us, or people who don't really care about us around us, that it becomes just the natural scenery for us, and we're not really fighting for ourselves and for our environment and our energy field the way we should. And it's just like having a messy house. When we have a messy house, some of us, we can be hoarders, or we can collect things, or we can not clean. And we get so used to it that we don't see it anymore. We don't see the junk anymore. And as opposed to somebody who's a neat freak and who's always cleaning their house and they're always making sure that everything is very organized and clean. It's the same with your spiritual world. So many of us, even though we know, all of us, even though we know that we've established and we've understood that we are not alone, that this is not it, that this world, this 3D reality is not the only thing out there, that there's more out there than this, that there's a spirit body and there's a soul body, and that we're all connected to these different aspects of ourselves, and that there's an energetic field all around us. And in this energetic field, there's all kinds of energy, and what we're connected to and what we think about matters. And even in scientific studies, we've established and understood that there's something out there that has to do with the thought and our thinking with regards to quantum physics and the concept of our thoughts having matter, our thoughts having energy, our thoughts actually shifting and changing the energetic field around us. And when we think about things like this, we can consciously or cognitively understand it, but we're not actually living our lives that way. We're not every day remembering to clean house, to keep our mind focused on the positive of the things that we can do now. A lot of times we're thinking about the past and what we can't change. But even that, when working in meditation and working with understanding timelines, for example, you can alternate and change that timeline. And going back to when I was talking about that we chose our lives and we chose the struggles that we've been through so that we can connect to spirit, so that we can connect to that other field, to the energetic field that's all around us, to connect to the God energy and to the divine. It's so that we can remember to ask for help and remember that we can always connect to those beings that are there just to help us, that are guiding us and working with us and communicating with us every day. And it could be that there's a law. It could be that it's our willing, conscious effort in having and taking part in asking for help that makes that power become activated. And so it's important to ask for help. It's important to remember and consciously ask for help in every aspect of our lives, in everything that is upsetting us. A friend of mine reminded me of this the other day, and we were talking about things, and she said, "Have you asked for help with this that you were talking about?" And I thought about it, and I have, but have I done it consciously and focused on it and repeated these thoughts and really made an effort to carve a pathway in my mind to create neural pathways of thoughts? Did I get out the machete and hack out a road path for my mind to have a clear way to these thoughts, to asking for help, to connecting to the angels more and more? And it's not just even once a day, but it's every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every time we have a negative thought or a stressful moment. It's to ask the angels, help me, guide me. Asking God, what can I do now? Guide me to be the best version of myself for you. What can I do to be who I'm supposed to be, who I came here to be? How can I become more and more of that higher self of me that exists out there? what can I do in this lifetime to get onto that path more and more? The path that gets me closer to my higher self, to the aspect and to the part of myself that I want to be more connected to. The part of myself that understands everything and that has transcended the pains and sufferings that I am now afflicted with because I am stuck in a mindset, in a belief system that keeps me from getting to who I'm really supposed to be, who I really am, that stops me from remembering who I am, who we are, that we're all connected to the field, that there's nothing to be afraid of, that there's nothing to be angry about, that there's nothing to be upset about, sad about, worried about, because everything is working according to our thoughts and our energy. And the more we worry about the outcome, the more we create those outcomes, the more we reset our mind and ask for help and ask the angels, help me, angels. And the more we pray to God, God, help me see what I need to do. Miracles happen all around us. And the more we do this, and the more we get focused on this, the more we create a reality of energy systems that help us and guide us, because we are aligning and we are asking for this more and more, and we are connecting ourselves to an energy of guidance. And even though we're always being guided, we have to do our part, our conscious part, to co-create that reality in our lives. And it's an energetic reality. And at the same time, when we think about this, we can get down on ourselves and we can think, oh, I thought this thought, or I wasn't positive, or I was negative, or I was angry, but that's part of it too. It seems like the more we get to a better place, there might even be more struggles or something that comes to thwart us from our higher frequency or our connection, our spiritual connection, that stops us from remembering that we can ask for help, that we're not alone, that the energy that we're seeing around us isn't all that there is. It's just a test that we put in for us to not be stuck anymore. And if we're feeling that pain, it's only to remind us that we have the ability to shift and transmute that energy. And we are tested all the time. But sometimes it's something that we don't want to see. It can be something that happens so often that it's more than just a test. So then what is it? Well, the answer will come to you in time. It always does. But even more than that, it's just asking for help. Sometimes the lesson is just that. It's to remember that we are not alone and that we can ask for help. And asking it every day and remembering to refocus. It's not positive thoughts is one thing, but it's more than that. It's high frequency thoughts. It's the ability to see your surroundings for what they are and not to be in denial about the things around us that could be negative and not functioning in the way that we want them to be into and align to our highest selves. But it is there because we forgot who we were. And we need to remember that we are so much more than that fear or that anger or that sadness or that loneliness or that confusion or being lost. All of it is really just us forgetting that we can ask for help that we can connect. And then we can get to that point. We can get to that point again. And we're in a place of peace, and our heart is in a place of peace and of love. And then we try and we strive to always maintain and stay in that heart space, that space of love and forgiveness, empathy, understanding, compassion, because we have that for ourselves. We have that love, empathy, compassion, peace for ourselves. And so then we can actually have it for others. But if we don't have it for ourselves, it's hard for us to have that peace, love, forgiveness, empathy, compassion, and love that we want to have for others. And we will be tested. And there are some people that are put there, that you put there in your life, just so that you can remember that you are a being of love, and that they are just a mirror and a reflection of the things that you don't want to see. And so you ask for help, and you ask the angels, and you ask God for help. And when you do this, you remember again that we are all one. That we are all one, that we are all connected to the field, that we are all love, that we all have a higher self. And to remember this, and to remind ourselves, and to ask for help. To ask to love ourselves and to remember ourselves. To ask to see love reflected in the people that you attract into your life. Love, empathy, compassion. Because you have love, empathy, and compassion for yourself. And then you will see that in the people that you attract in your life, in the situations that you attract in your life. And it's an ongoing journey. And it's not about being upset with yourself or angry that you're not there yet, because if it was easy, we wouldn't come here. We wouldn't be here if it was easy. And we came from a place where it was easy to know exactly what we were. In the spirit world, we see exactly who we are. But here, we have to remember who we are. And we have to ask God and the angels and our guides for help. And when we do, it reminds us that it does work, and that it's always a balancing act. It's always a connection to source in a 3D reality. Going from the divine energy into the heart in a world that is set up to show us all of the things that we're trying to transmute from. A world filled with so much uncertainty, so much physical responsibility. We have our physical bodies, our health, the people around us that we have no control over, financial struggles or financial goals, the mind, body, spirit connection that we get here. We're not just a body, we're not just a mind, we're not just a spirit, we're all three. And so we are constantly balancing that. And we need to ask for help. And just take a minute and ask and pray. Pray. Pray for the answers. Pray that they will show you through people, through situations. So many times we can even have false answers. And that is why it's so important to pray and ask. And to listen to your body and your mind and your gut, so that you can find out the truth and be there for the answer. And that is a constant struggle. But it doesn't have to be. once we trust ourselves, once we put trust in our feelings, in our inner knowing, and in that connection to God and the angels. Like when we do that, and they send us animals that show us symbols. Don't ignore those symbols. Don't ignore when crow flies through the air, or eagle or hawk does, or coyote comes by, or the rabbit or the deer or a sparrow. Any animal that comes to you is a message from the divine, from God, from the angels, showing you what you need to do, leading and guiding the way. And the more and more we listen and trust and know that everything is connected, we will understand the symbols better. We will understand what they mean for us in our lives, even if it's something that we're trying to not see. Because the other part of it is not wanting to see what God tells us, what God is showing us. Because we want this other thing to be the truth. But that is our lesson for us to learn. And when we learn it, we connect. We understand. And sometimes we don't understand at the moment, but it will all be revealed in time. That is why, even if bad things happen to us, there's the yin and the yang. And we pray and we ask for help. God, is there a way that you can make things better for me? That you can show me which way to go? That you can put in my path people of love and kindness and light? That you can bring and show me through the animals, through the field, through the energetic field all around us. And then pay attention, because God always answers. The angels are always with us. We just have to pay attention, and pay attention to our bodies. What does our heart feel? What does our gut feel? What is our body doing? Is it shaking? Does it feel good? Does it feel tense? Sometimes our body knows before our conscious mind. And there's all these signs all around us. Sometimes it's through something someone is saying. The answers will come, and they will repeat themselves over and over again until we see it. So why not ask God for help so we can see them easier, clearer? So that's my message today, and it is something that has been on my mind a lot these days. And God is speaking through my friends to tell me and reminding me as well. And I felt the need to remind you as well, all of us, that we're not alone, and to not forget to ask for help, because we're all connected. So thank you very much for watching. This is Opal Unicorn. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I am working on posting at least once a week or more. And also, I am working on posting meditations to go along with the things that we talk about here. Because in a very important part about doing the work, the spirit work, the mental mind, body connection, is meditating and doing the spirit work to make those parts of our energetic field and body and mind aligned. It's like exercising for a spirit. That's what meditation is. So please check out my meditations. I will be posting those as well. And let me know what you think. And thank you for watching.